Hello, I am Burt Green. This is the Burt Locker. It's just an MMA show. Basically, it's light. It's supposed to be, it's informative. It's pretty fast, pretty funny. Just talking about mixed martial arts because I love mixed martial arts, UFC, and it's mostly what I focus on because who has time to cover all of it? There's so much these days. But either way, this one is going to be focusing in on obviously UFC 286 that happened at the weekend, taking a look at what's been going on in mixed martial arts news. So if that sounds good, stick with me for the Burt Locker. Also, if you do enjoy this content, please just hit subscribe, costs nothing. You don't have to hit the bell notification if you don't want to get loads of notifications. If you do, then obviously hit the bell notification. If you're not interested in notifications, just hit subscribe and that's it. That's all you need to do. So yeah, let's get going with the Burt Locker for UFC 286 recap, effectively. So we're going to start off. Muhammad Mokaev, he's somebody that I've had high hopes for quite a while. He's got a lot of hype behind him. He's extremely good. Man, he sacrificed his knee real nice. Check out the angle on that knee bar. Oh my goodness, how did he not tap out to that? Ridiculous. The fortitude it takes to not tap out to that is absolutely fantastic. I applaud him. And hey, look, he's probably going to need surgery on that, but the UFC will pick up the bill because obviously it happened inside the octagon, and the UFC do pick up the bill for all those kind of surgeries if the injury takes place in the octagon, because the UFC are they don't care about their fighters. They don't care about their fighters. They're money grabbing, horrible pieces of garbage, but they will pay for that surgery. I'm just kidding. I was like trolling people. Anyway, Gunnar Nelson was exactly as we expected. He went through Brian Barberane on the ground like a hot knife through butter, but that did mean that one of my doubles came in, so I actually ended up on my betting slip for the first time in quite a long time, let me tell you. Oh, good lord. Lady V, she cashed in as an underdog to win her comeback fight. First time she's fought in a little while. Lady V, Veronica, basically she's Dan Hardy's wife. Very good fighter in her own right. She's still fighting in the UFC. She was coming in as quite a large underdog. I was very glad to see her get the nod though. It's not because I watch her on Dan Hardy's podcast, all the picks and that, and she just seems so nice. So I was rooting for her. But yeah, it was just nice. It was nice to see her cash in and get that win, and because she's always very good on Dan Hardy's pick shows and things like that. It's good fun. Dolidze, I thought he was robbed, but then again, I was massively biased, and I've got to be honest, I was pretty drunk because the fights were on at a normal time for us Brits in the UK, so I got to enjoy it with a few pints. Might have had a few pints watching the rugby beforehand as well. So whilst I did have money on Dolidze, I thought he got robbed in that one, honestly. But I don't like the term robbery because whatever, it was a close fight. And I was heavily biased. I do think that Vettori got away with one there, if I'm honest. Gaethje versus Fiziev, absolutely mental fight. I would watch them fight every week. So hats off to both guys, honestly. I would watch them every week. Brilliant. I thought Fiziev had rounds 1 and 2, if I'm honest. And I thought Gaethje, maybe there was an argument to be made for a 10-8 in round 3. I thought it was a draw, honestly, on the scorecards. But congratulations to Gaethje. He's just such a violent man, and Fiziev looked absolutely fantastic. He looked a lot like Ragnar Lothbrok's death scene in Vikings. Spoiler alert, I guess. If you haven't seen Vikings, come on. It's quite an old show. And also, if you know anything about the mythology of Ragnar Lothbrok, all the Vikings, they all died in the end. They've been dead hundreds of years. Not exactly a spoiler. Anyway, Leon Edwards, what can you say? What a fantastic performance. He was able to just nullify everything that Usman did. Usman managed to get a couple of takedowns, could do absolutely nothing with them. I thought it was a brilliant performance. It was almost more impressive than the knockout because I thought, honestly, I struggled to give Usman a round. Even the round where Leon got the point deducted for the fence grab, then that was a 9-9. Either way, fantastic performance. It's undeniable at this point. Leon Edwards cemented himself as the welterweight champion. Absolutely fantastic. Congratulations. To the people kind of calling him a cheater, it's like, I don't know. Really? With Usman on the other side, the guy who's grabbed so many fences in the past and has faked low blows. Come on, these things happen in the cage. Let's not start calling one a cheater and just forget all the transgressions of the other guy. That's not what it's about. At the end of the day, both of them fought a good fight. Leon fought a better fight. That's it. That is it at the end of the day. And all those people that are saying that Leon isn't an active champion already. Literally, people are saying that online. People are just like, he's saying he doesn't want to fight Colby. It's like, that's not what he said, actually. What he said was, let's see who wins out of Burns and Masvidal, because the history with Masvidal, that's a fight that he's always wanted. And if Masvidal can get the job done against Gilbert Burns, then the money fight could be that fight. Because at the end of the day, Leon Edwards, he wants the fights that are going to generate the most revenue possible. I think he's right. I think the Masvidal fight generates more revenue than the Colby fight. I do believe that. I don't think it really comes down to people saying, oh, he's scared of Colby because he knows that Colby will beat him. It's like, listen, Leon Edwards has just beaten the consensus best welterweight of this current generation of fighters twice back to back. And you think he's sweating the guy that his recent opponent beat twice. I know that MMA math doesn't work like that. Obviously Colby has a chance at beating Leon Edwards, obviously. But I think to say that Leon is ducking Colby at this point, having beaten Kamaru Usman twice in a row, I think that's a ridiculous thing to say, honestly. Come on. He defended his belt 2 days ago. Give him a chance, guys. Give him a chance. Jesus Christ. People are actually calling him an inactive champion already. He defended his belt 2 days ago. People are idiots. People really are idiots. Anyway, well done to Leon Edwards. I think let's see what happens between Burns and Masvidal. And then I don't know if Masvidal gets through Burns. That's the spanner in the works of that one. At which point I think the Colby fight probably happens. So let's have a look at the news. Before I do, if I could just ask you again, if you haven't subscribed already, just hit subscribe. Much appreciated. Don't think. Subscribe. Thank you. So apparently Francis Ngannou is either heading to PFL or ONE FC, which is great news for the fighters in whichever company he ends up signing with, because surely that means that they're going to be getting free healthcare, because that was the stipulation that made him not re-sign with the UFC, wasn't it? So by proxy, if he signs with ONE FC or PFL, all the fighters in that company should be expecting free healthcare. I look forward to seeing how they implement that. Be pretty good. And just FYI also, going back to Kamaru Usman, it isn't a competition about who is the most African, but if it was a competition, I'd say that the guy that was born, lives and trains in South Africa is probably more African. Like, again, it's not a competition. And the thing is Dreykus wasn't even saying that. All Dreykus was saying, it's the same argument that you've got with Leon Edwards. That was acknowledged by Michael Bisping. Bisping said that, look, I see his point. I mean, I am the first champion from England, from the UK. But he does have a point, and he's the first one that's really brought it home. Because there is that argument. You know, Leon Edwards lives, trains in Birmingham. Like, he's brought the belt home. He still resides there. When Bisping won his belt, he lived and trained in California. I think all Dreykus was saying is like, look, because he's a proud South African, and fair play to him. I'm a big fan of Dreykus du Plessis. All he said was, look, I was born in South Africa, I train in South Africa, I live in South Africa. I am going to be, the guy for Africa, and he's kind of got a point. And then Kamaru Usman said something real stupid, because he's just like comes out and goes, oh well, my parents went out to China and lived in China, I'm born in China, that doesn't mean that I'm more Chinese. It's like, no, it kind of does. Nationality-wise, that would make you Chinese. Kamaru, what are you talking about? Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's not a competition, but Kamaru, you haven't lived in Nigeria for like 25 years. That's a long time. So actually, I think the guy that was born, lives and trains in South Africa, I think there's an argument to say that it's not a competition of who's the most African, but if it was, the guy who was born, lived and still resides there and still trains there is probably has a better case. Just saying. Anyway, Conor McGregor reckons that his fight with Michael Chandler is going to be at £170. I beg to differ. Dana White doesn't seem to think so. So, look, Dana said that the fight's going to be at 155, so I don't really know what to make of this. Conor might have been drinking again. Who knows? I don't know. His first battle's going to be with USADA, honestly. And if he beats Michael Chandler, then, look, Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor. He kind of gets what he wants. I wouldn't rule out a title shot at £170. How could you rule that out completely? Do I think it would be right? No. Could I rule it out? Also no. Makhachev wants Leon Edwards in October. Look, I would love to see Makhachev against against Dariush first, honestly. I don't know. I wouldn't count Leon out in that fight purely because we've now seen, obviously, Volkanovski do so well against Makhachev, and with the size advantage that Leon Edwards would probably have, look, if he can stop Usman's wrestling like he did at the weekend, there's a case to be made that maybe he can stop Makhachev's wrestling, and then on the feet, it's game is on. I'd like to see Makhachev against the winner of Charles and Dariush. I'm hoping Dariush gets past Charles because I would like to see some fresh blood in there. Oh no, we shall see. Troll of the week this week is the only way for Bilal to get a title shot is to become Colby Covington. It just made me giggle because I do feel a little bit bad for Bilal Muhammad. Not super bad because I still don't. I don't think he's got the most concrete claim to the title shot. But yeah, he's got an Make America Great hat going on again. The fake UFC title. Maybe Bilal needs to go down that route. But yeah, that's all I've got time for this week. So I'm going to be doing a casuals guide to UFC San Antonio. I think it is Chito Vera against Corey Sandhagen in the main event. That one's probably going to be a quick one because that card does go pretty deep. Did stretch my MMA knowledge a little bit. There's some fighters I still know nothing about. But either way, it's going to be a fun one. So go check out that video and hit subscribe. All that good stuff. Until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.